Imagine this. You are walking down a quiet street at night. The world feels silent, almost empty. And suddenly, you see a small light. It is not from a lamp, not from a phone. It feels different. This light calls you. It whispers. Something is about to change. And at that moment, you feel it. Your heart beats faster. Your mind says, "Why me? Why now?" But here's the truth. You are not watching this video by accident. You are here because your story is ready to begin. Many people give up on learning English. They say it is too hard, too boring, too impossible. But what if I told you, English is not only a language, it is a key to new worlds, new friends, new opportunities. Close your eyes for a second. Can you imagine yourself speaking English with confidence? Traveling? Making friends? Getting that dream job? Yes, you can. But first, you must listen to this story until the very end. Because in this story, I will show you a secret. A secret that will not only teach you English words, but will also change the way you see yourself. So let's begin. Once upon a time, there was a young man named Daniel. Daniel lived in a small town. He was curious, full of dreams, but he had one big problem. He could not speak English. And every time he tried, people laughed. They said, "Your accent is bad." They said, "You will never be fluent." And slowly, Daniel started to believe them. But deep inside, there was a fire, a voice telling him, "Don't give up. Your story is not over." And that night, when Daniel saw the same mysterious light that I told you about, everything began to change. Daniel followed the light. Step by step, his feet moved without thinking. The street was empty, but his heart was full of questions. Finally, the light stopped in front of an old library. The doors were heavy, the windows dark. But when Daniel touched the handle, the doors opened by themselves. Inside, the air smelled like old paper, mystery, and magic. Books were everywhere. Some on shelves, some on tables, some floating in the air as if the library was alive. And then a voice spoke, not from a person, not from a machine. The voice came from the library itself. It said, "Daniel, every book here is written in English. Every dream you want is written in English. The question is, are you ready to read them?" Daniel froze. He thought, "But my English is weak. I make mistakes. People laugh at me." The voice replied gently, "Mistakes are not the end. Mistakes are the beginning. Every mistake is a step closer to fluency." Daniel's eyes filled with tears. For the first time, he felt hope. He walked deeper into the library. One book shone brighter than the others. He opened it slowly. On the first page, he saw only one word: believe. Daniel whispered it aloud. Believe. The library shook. The walls glowed with golden light. And suddenly, English words started flying around him like fireflies. Words like dream, courage, love, freedom. They circled him, waiting for him to catch them. Daniel reached out his hand. One word landed on his palm: courage. And at that exact moment, something inside him shifted. He realized learning English was not about grammar books, not about perfect pronunciation. It was about courage. The courage to keep speaking, even when afraid. The library's voice returned. "Daniel, when you choose courage, you choose growth. Do you accept this path?" Daniel took a deep breath. Yes, I accept. And with those words, the library doors closed behind him. There was no way back, only forward. Daniel stepped deeper into the library. The golden light faded, and the room became dark. He felt the cold air on his skin. He heard whispers, soft at first, then louder. The whispers said, "You can't do this. Your English will never be good enough. Go back. Stop trying." Daniel covered his ears. His heart pounded. These voices felt real. They sounded like the people who laughed at him before. He shouted, "Stop! Stop!" And then, silence. A shadow appeared in front of him. It was tall, dark, with no face. The shadow said in a deep voice, "I am your fear. If you want to learn, you must face me." Daniel trembled. He whispered, "But I don't know how." The shadow replied, "You don't fight me with strength. You fight me with words. Speak. Speak in English." Daniel's hands shook. His mouth was dry, but he remembered the word from the book, courage. So he spoke, slowly, carefully. "I am not afraid. I can learn. I will learn." The shadow laughed. "Your grammar is wrong. Your accent is terrible." Daniel closed his eyes. He said louder, "My accent does not matter. My mistakes do not matter. What matters is I am learning." The ground shook. The shadow screamed and broke into 1,000 pieces of smoke. The whispers disappeared. Silence returned. But this time, it was peaceful. The library's voice spoke again. "You see, Daniel? Fear is only an illusion. The moment you speak, fear loses its power." Daniel fell to his knees, tears running down his face. He realized something important. Every English learner in the world has the same fear, the fear of mistakes, the fear of speaking. But courage destroys fear. And at that moment, Daniel felt stronger than ever before. Suddenly, a new book floated down in front of him. This time, the word on the first page was persistence. Daniel smiled. He knew the next challenge was waiting. Daniel picked up the second glowing book. On the first page, in shining golden letters, was the word persistence. He whispered, "Persistence. What does it mean?" The library answered, "Persistence means never giving up. It means moving forward, even when it feels slow, even when it feels hard. Without persistence, courage is not enough." Daniel nodded. He understood. He thought about all the times he tried to study English before. The times he opened a book for 1 week, then stopped. The times he practiced a little, but then lost motivation. He felt shame in his heart. But before he could speak, the ground opened under him. Suddenly, he was no longer in the library. He was standing in the middle of a long, endless road. The road stretched forward for miles and miles. It was hot, dry, and empty. There was no water, no food, no people. Only the sound of his footsteps. A sign appeared on the road. It said, "This is the path of persistence. Walk forward and do not stop." Daniel started walking. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. At first, it felt easy. But after some time, his legs hurt. The sun burned his face. He wanted to stop. He cried out, "This is too hard. I can't continue." The road spoke back to him. Every English learner feels this way. They feel tired. They feel bored. They want to quit. But those who keep walking, those who take just one more step, they reach fluency. Daniel fell to his knees. His body wanted to quit. But then he remembered the words from the book, persistence. He stood up again. Step by step, slowly but surely, he continued. Sometimes he crawled. Sometimes he stumbled. But he never stopped. As he walked, something magical happened. The road began to change. The hot desert became green fields. The air became fresh. And at the end of the road, he saw a shining door. On the door, there was one sentence. Persistence always opens the next level. Daniel touched the door, and it opened with a bright light. He was back inside the library, but this time he was different. His face was stronger. His heart was braver. The library's voice said, Daniel, you have learned courage. You have learned persistence. One final lesson remains. If you can pass it, your transformation will be complete. Daniel whispered, What is the final lesson? The library slowly opened the last book, and on its page was written one single word, love. Daniel held the last book in his shaking hands. He read the word again, love. But this time, he was confused. He asked, Love? How can love help me learn English? The library answered softly, Daniel, language is not just words. Language is connection. You cannot learn English only with books and rules. You learn it by loving the process, by loving communication, by loving the people you connect with. Suddenly, Daniel was no longer in the library. He was standing in a busy city, full of people speaking English. They laughed, they talked, they told stories. At first, Daniel felt nervous. He thought, what if I make mistakes? But then he remembered the word, love. He smiled and walked to a small group of people. Hello, he said. His voice shook, but he continued. My name is Daniel. I am learning English. Can I talk with you? The people smiled. They welcomed him. They listened patiently. Even when he made mistakes, they laughed with kindness, not with judgment. Daniel's heart grew warm. He realized English was not about being perfect. It was about sharing, connecting, expressing feelings. It was about love. The city around him transformed into pure light. The library's voice returned one last time. Daniel, you have passed the 3 lessons: courage, persistence, and love. You are now ready, not just to learn English, but to live it. Daniel's body glowed with golden light. Words floated around him, thousands of English words, full of meaning and power. But this time, they didn't fly away. They entered his heart, his mind, his soul. He spoke clearly, confidently. I am not afraid. I will not give up. I love this journey. I am ready. The library whispered, and so it begins. With that, the doors of the library opened wide. Daniel stepped out, not as the same person who entered, but as someone new. He was no longer trying to learn English. He was living it. And here is the secret for you, the one watching this story. You are Daniel. Yes, you. You have the same fears. You have the same doubts. But inside you, there is also courage. Inside you, there is persistence. And most of all, inside you, there is love. So when you feel afraid, remember courage. When you feel tired, remember persistence. And when you feel alone, remember, love. Because English, or any dream you have, is not just about words or grammar or rules. It is about connection, persistence, and love. And now it is your time. Your journey starts today. Take a deep breath. Say these words with me. I am ready. I believe. I will never give up. And I love this journey. If you feel these words in your heart, your life will change. Not tomorrow, not next week, but today. So, are you ready?